Hey guys, I decided to make this video about Sanguine Blade because this item, it seems to have a lot of discussion going on about it with, is it broken? A lot of people are just going towards it's broken, and I really don't think this item is broken. I think this item is a very a situational item, and like it might even be like based on the game and even like what your team needs and even what the enemy team has, like, are they all squishies? Because it it's just like it competes with Blade of the Rune King, and that's a really big thing about it too. And the other thing about it is it we're gonna make this fast one, by the way, is it's an assassin item, but it gives attack speed, which is a stat assassins don't really need or want because they usually kill you so fast. Who like for instance, like let's say I'm playing Rengar. Okay, so what does the attack speed really do when I already get attack speed from my Q, and they usually die right away anyway, because it's like, oh, would I really want this item over having movement speed from Ghostblade with out of combat and the active? Would I really want this item over my slow and burst damage from Dustblade that can be spammable? Do I really want this item over clearing out wards and having more vision so they don't know where I'm coming from? Like this item is, to me, an extremely niche item. Like like for instance, let me pull up something fast. Well, like pretty much, I decided to make this thread because not this thread, this video, because it just seems to me that well, it's just such. I don't even know what the hell I was gonna say, guys, but that's fine. It happens. But so I think we're gonna talk about champions. So essentially, like first off, let's talk about this thread. Okay, this thread here was what like sort of got me going. So this guy makes a thread. Sanguine Blade is busted. We all knew it, but it somehow made it to live anyway. That is all. Thank you. Goodbye. That's not really a constructive thread at all, honestly. So I replied to him. It really isn't. I just ran through the list of champions a bit ago, and I think less than 20 were okay with the item. I think there were around 5-ish champions that it would be good on, some in rushing it, some in having it later. It is a situation item, though. It's not too weak that people just avoid it. It's just not too strong as it has counterplay, as there's a trade off compared to other lethality items or an item such as Blade of the Rune King. And, sorry, it was 8 guys. This guy says one word Twitch, and I say to him, not really. Jungle maybe because since you're alone in the jungle, maybe you can farm faster. But jungle Twitch is usually not really farming that much. But even then, he'd want more the crit more. If it's an AD carry role, you won't roam around for single picks really, unless this is some low elo thing, which is true because usually an AD carry would be with someone and maybe you can get middle, but like, if you're AD carry, they would sort of know that you're roaming. Like people should know how to play around that, and I continue on to say, this is not an AD carry I'm light, and I like the design of it. And then this one guy replies, the problem is that it compounds so well with Reward Conqueror on all of the strongest AD abusers of it, aka Garen. Well, first off, well, I was gonna reply to it, but I did reply to it, so we're just gonna continue. And it just skyrockets their power levels. Since this is going to be another pre 15 sort of meta, this is all you really need. Something to abuse it to shit in in the first 10 minutes that makes you untouchable. Then this one guy says, if you're not roaming on Twitch, you're not playing right. The goal value of the item is astronomical, and it's just the OP of the thread. Yeah, he replies to my one comment. Yeah, of course it would only be good on certain champions, but the ones that it's good on, it's too good on. That's the problem, and that just seems like a really weird comment to me. And I reply, to not to him, but the guy who's talked about, oh, it's really good on Garen. I said there are better items to get than than this on Garen. By the time you'd have the time to build it, building flat armor pen is bad at that point. Like stronger items would be like Trinity Force and like Fame Dancer and things. Like I'll be honest, I don't know too much about like the new Garen, but it's just an item like he wants movement speed. Garen, if he can't touch you, he's worthless. So the item doesn't give movement speed or anything. And then I said champions is probably good to get on are Vive, Led, Nocturne, definitely Kled, and users that might be okay with it are Rek'Sai, Kindred. The thing that is good about items is when there is an actual choice, and and I and I might have to think. Guys, we're gonna edit this live, okay? And I think that's the goal with these lethality items. Realistically, brain lag. You won't be building them all. You are you are meant to pick which ones benefit you. There are still assassin items, not items that are just broken so anyone builds them. Even on Volley slash Mundo, who have interesting scaling with attack speed, are better off getting other items as they don't scale with AD, so the AD is a wasted stat. People just see 40 to 100% attack speed, 10 lethality, like is broken when the attack speed is based on level. Huge factor. And it falls off fast once someone is in like 1,000 range of you. And I reply to the Twitch guy, AD carries 1 crit slash attack speed. Or if they do build an attack speed item with no crit, they build Blade. This item is very similar to Blade. Blade's 8% current HP damage plus active are nothing to scuff at. This item is competing with Blade of the Rune King, the biggest difference being the big attack speed difference plus lethality only when you fight a lone ally. If someone is roaming, they should die. If the Switch had a blade, he'd probably be dead too. If the Switch is fed and just feeding on support slash AD carries. Switch doesn't really benefit from the armor pen. Champs that do are champions that build cleaver or have built-in armor pen. Champions such as Jarvan, Vi, Kled, who build cleaver and or are built-in armor pen, scale better with it and auto a lot and sometimes look for solo kills. And this guy is claiming, I was replying to him, he's like, oh, it's too good. And I said, I don't know if it would be too good uh, on, I don't know if it would be too good on, guys, I'm not even going to bother fixing it. What I meant to say there, guys, I'm not sure if it would be too good on them, but we're not even going to bother fixing it. It's more of a place item. Cleaver slash Titanic are so strong. So would you not build those and instead get this item on Kled? The counterplay to the item is just gank the Kled until your top laner can handle them. And this guy is like, oh, what about junglers who are actual abuse cases? Again, I think this is a huge exaggerating. Shaco, Olaf, Nocturne, Kong, Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix isn't really an all attacker. Yi, it's sort of Yi, but Yi has better items. Rek'Sai, Shyvana, Skarner to an extent. Basically, any champion that likes to all attack and fight you. You know that passive happens in jungle while they farm, right? And I didn't really read this. It was like whatever. And I said to him, yeah, but champions like Rek'Sai Skarner are tanky fighters, not assassins. That's what's interesting about the item is it's an assassin item, but it gives attack speed. A stat assassins don't tend to want at all. I think it's easy to act like an item is OP uh when it competes with Blade of the Rune King, which is better on champions like Shyvana Vi. Like excuse the broken English, guys. It's a bit late, guys. Um, so that's pretty much where this whole conversation came from. And like, he mentions like those champions, and I did go through the champion list. Like for instance, Shaco. I don't really. It would be good on Shaco, really. I mean, maybe on Shaco, but to me, there would probably be better items. Because it's like he usually would kill you within 2 or 3 autos anyway. Like off. Um, you probably just want to get. It might be good on all, but like he's not really an assassin, so that's the thing. Nocturne, it might be good on Nocturne, yeah. He's like an obvious, choice for it, but it just depends on how many situations you're actually alone with that target. Because if you're not alone, you lose so much value on the item that you're better off building like a Blade of the Rune King. Uh, Conquer, that's just a weird statement to say, just because it depends on the champion. Really, you can't just say, "Oh, it's good because of Conquer." I mean, I don't know. Kha'Zix probably wants other items like other lethality items, not attack speed. Yi wants other things. Rek'Sai maybe just because she builds cleaver. I mean, it might be good if you're snowballing, but again, the big thing is that you have to be alone. Shyvana, no on Shyvana. Shyvana needs other items. Blade of the Rune King's way better because of her on hit, 2 on hit fix with her Q. Uh, I disagree with that completely. And also the active blade is very good on her. And Skarner, yeah, because of his AD scaling and how he has 80 damage, but it's one of those weird things where you would want Trinity Force, you would want like tanky items like I don't know movement speed things like maybe you'll be like I don't know what do you call that item? Is that movement speed item glory or something? I don't know what it's called. Is that movement speed item? Um, but that's enough about the thread. Like this thread was essentially like you can see like they immediately just disagree with me. So uh, let's like look at the stats. We're gonna compare these two things. Okay. Let me just fix it up a bit because this is honestly the big computer. Because yeah, it's a lethality item. Blade drinking isn't. But the big thing about it is that assassins don't want attack speed really. So right about this is 300 gold cheaper, I believe. Yeah, 300 gold cheaper. So this has you know we're gonna pull up this. Okay, we're gonna use some nice little paint. How do I want to do this? I want to leave it like that. Okay, so let me fix this bit. I'm gonna do something like that. Oh, I want to show the image though. So okay, this item is we're never gonna do this, guys. This is a big waste of time. Fuck that. We're not doing that. So no, yeah, it was just gonna be a mess. Okay, I was just worried about the make it was long. However, so Sanguine Blade is 300 gold less, so that's a big plus. Earlier power spike, easier to build. Or is it easier to build? Not really. They're both sort of the same. Um, 10 damage more, 3% more life steal, but it sort of like balances itself out because Blade of the Ruin King would give you the healing from the percentage damage that this gives, and it gives 10 lethality, and it scales based on level, and it doesn't give attack speed. Oh, not attack speed. Yeah, it doesn't give attack speed on its own. You have to have this effect, and the big thing to note about it is that the lethality isn't based on level. It gives you just at least I believe it gives you a flat 8 lethality. Although I'm not quite sure about this. It might just be like like legit like 8 armor pen. Maybe it's not. Maybe it does actually is based on level, but it does say the attack speed is based on level. I think that's a big thing. Like people look at this and probably think like, oh, this gives at least 80% attack speed. But the only time it gives you 80% attack speed is at level 13, or if you want to be like, oh, pretty much is level 12. So if you were like rush this item like I don't know level 8 or 9, it's pretty much giving 68% attack speed. So that's like a good middle ground, honestly, because you wouldn't get like I don't know like level 6 or anything like that. That'd be a bit insane unless you're a laner, of course. Um, and it decays over 3 seconds, and the range of this is about like 1,000. So like let's say like I'm over like right here on the screen, like no, right over here on the screen, like like this is my map, and say I'm like right here with like I don't know Vi. If they're right over here, that's like it's pretty much the range of it. Like it's pretty much this big. I might be like a little bit off, but that's a huge distance. So like if you're on the guy and like someone's right here, like it starts decaying, and it decays at a steady rate, I believe. So it won't just like go like half and then all the way all vanish. I believe. I might be wrong, but I believe I originally thought it would diminish like halfway and then just be gone completely. But I think it's just a steady flow. So the big thing, and well, we're gonna review Blade Drinking. So 1080 less. It gives attack speed on its own already, so you don't need any special you know things on it. 12% life steal and 8% of target's current HP. Bonus physical damage on hit, and it has a damage cap on monsters. 60. And the big thing about Blade is the active. The active is very powerful. It can help a lot of junglers like Shyvana, even Vi. It's a very underrated active. Don't Guys, I just ate, so. No, I'm not going to burp. Okay. I don't do that. So. Okay, guys. Man, oh, I gotta ruin my train of thought. Don't do that. Well, what was I even talking about? Well, no, stop laughing. You're making it harder on me. Oh no. What was I talking about? I need. Okay, guys, we need to find something to talk about because I just completely lost my train of thought. Okay, guys, the big thing about Sanguine Blade is that it gives you the attack speed. Like, it's very strong on junglers, like right off the bat, because the one or less targets means that if you're alone, you have this attack speed buff. But the big thing about it is that it's it can be very strong coupled with Blade of the Rune King, just because the attack speed and the lethality would scale with it. It can also be very strong if you build like the attack speed jungle item on Nocturne. So again, like on champions like Nocturne and even Vi, I think it might be very powerful, just because it gives a bit more AD, which makes Vi's W stronger, lethality, which makes her W, because she reduces it by a percentage, and then that the percentage make it scales very well with flat pen. And so this item might be is I think is probably the replacement for Blade of the Rune King, maybe, or maybe even just situationally for Vi and Nocturne. Uh, the item might even be good on a champion like Hecarim, maybe, just because he likes lethality. He's sort of an assassin-y type of champion who wants to go on squishies. Doesn't really benefit from Blade because of that. And like like for instance, like we're gonna look at champions first. So for instance, like if we go down this line, like what champions are like, wow, this would be decent on uh the champion. So let's really think here. So like not really any of these champions. Not really Mundo because he doesn't scale with AD and needs to be tanky. Aaron's sorta, but not really because there's better items. Maybe Graves. Maybe it's only a maybe. Graves is probably a good, but yeah, it probably is pretty good into Graves. Like if you look, maybe he's building it. Yeah, it looks like it's actually something that's probably pretty good on Graves, just because he's an interesting armor pen AD carry. So this is what I'm talking about. Like he's an actual like bursty non-crit type of AD carry in general that would actually benefit from lethality and the attack speed, just because of the type of champion he is. Hecarim, maybe that's very niche. Not really Aurelia. Jarvan, it might be very strong because he autos a lot, and he has a flat armor pen on his Q, and also he builds cleaver. So the base armor pen and attack speed can be very powerful on him. That's like a snowballish type of Jarvan though. Um, Not really Kane. Kha'Zix maybe, but I don't really think so. I think the other options are better, in all honesty. Cled's I think, like I said, I think Cled might be very powerful with it. But even if Cled like rushes the item for whatever reason, all you would need to do, sheesh guys. Sorry, I had some tacos. They're really good. But it's like if someone builds it in the lane, to me that just tells like that means that the laner should play very more passive, and should also just even ask for help, because it to me, because if you build it and it fails, it sets Kled back on his power spike of having like a Black Cleaver and Titanic, which are more solid in general. And it has counterplay, which is because if it just gave you off the bat, like after like, oh, you attack a champion and after a second you get it, that would be like, well, yeah, this item's probably busted, but it isn't. And who else? Not really these champions, are like casters. Maybe I need, but not really, honestly. People say more. I don't know about that. Nocturne is I think very solid on that. Olaf, I wouldn't think so, simply because he already has true damage energy. Maybe though, and he's sort of like the initiation, so probably not. He's not really an assassin. That's the thing. Kiana, it might be good on Kiana because she can stun lock you, and she can get a lot more autos off. So it might be good on Kiana actually, and especially Kiana jungle actually. So this item may actually be very good on Kiana jungle. Like what's like yeah, like so her win rate has never been good in jungle, but her play rate's been going up, which is very interesting. Like this item might be very powerful just because like she has a pretty slow auto attack speed and like her clear isn't that strong. However, the fact that she would have this in her clear always and like would be able to assassinate people, like this item just helps her clear a lot, just be able to farm faster. So it could even just be like an item you buy just to farm faster, and like the lethality, lifesteal, and attack damage are just like extra. Like you just have them, right? Um, that's another way you look at the item. Rengar, I really don't think it's gonna be that good on Rengar unless you build some like again like if you do some kind of build where like you're building like bruisery, like whatever the hell this stuff is, but like even then it'd be I don't know, like people have to be quite tanky because like if Rengar has these two items ready and like say you built us another lethality item like XJ9 or something, you'd probably be dead anyway. Like I don't think that attack speed is actually doing anything there. Quinn, Quinn, yeah, maybe. I miss Quinn jungle. Yeah, Quinn. Again, like it's these champions that build like Quinn and Graves actually like sort of like on my mind, but no one really plays them. But it's nice to have items that fill niches, and it's Quinn even builds a Blade of the Rune King on her item builds. So it's a bit of like because Blade Ranking again, it's sort of a trade off. Like, do you want that early item spike and like do you want to just farm faster? Because this item is probably better just like split push on and farm and just really quickly push a wave compared to Blade of the Rune King. So I think that's cool. What else? Rek'Sai maybe she does true damage with her E though already, so it's a bit weird. And she usually transitions into a tank. She usually just wants that core black cleaver. Like the fact she builds black cleaver makes this item pretty decent, but it's like, is she really an assassin? Shyvana, I big no. It's I already explained why. Trinity, I really don't think so. He needs CDR and crit. He doesn't really benefit from it. If he did, he would build it very late. But even then, the armor pin would fall off. I don't know about Rudy. I don't really play Rudy, so I'm not sure how the attack speed works with him. Looks like up is a big no on that. I don't know about that though. Bear, I really don't think so. You probably just want to be tanky, and he doesn't benefit from the AD at all besides autos. He's literally an HP tanking champion just like Mundo. He scales with HP. I think is probably better than Blade. The only downside would be potentially maybe you would lifesteal less, although you would deal way more damage with your W. The other big thing about lethality is that it doesn't help on jungle camp. So in a way, you have to look at it as like instead of having 40-80 and 20 four instead of having 40-80, 25 attack speed and 8% on hit, you instead have 50-80 the life steal and just the attack speed. Like the lethality doesn't do anything. So it might even just be a balance, like if you're like soloing Baron or something, maybe like I'm not sure how much that would impact it. Maybe you would actually be able to do it a lot faster. Maybe it depends on whether or not you take the vampiric rune, the Revenus rune. Wukong, I don't think so. He's a caster with his ultimate, especially. It's a big waste. Zed, probably a big candidate for it being actually good. Oh yeah, Skarn too, but I didn't really mention. But yeah, Zed is probably even Zed jungle. It might be a thing again, just because that the attack speed just would help his clear tremendously. So I just don't like. I think that's interesting thing about it though, is because like even with me, like there's a lot of factors on this item. Like I don't think this item was if Blade of the Rune King had like 100% attack speed for whatever reason and had the 8% damage, yeah, that would be busted. But like it's just I think this item is more of a complementary item or a playstyle item rather than like just a busted item because I like that there is a counterplay to it, which is just group up, you know. So I just really don't think this item's like a lot of people, like even you maybe who was watching this video might think this item's broken, but I really don't. I think this item is being overhyped a lot. So I'm not really sure what else to talk about really. I mean, I can talk for an hour, maybe just some, maybe we'll. No. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm gonna stop there. I mean, if you want a discussion in the comments, you can comment. It's just, I, I, I really am a big fan of like, I like that they separated these items because I feel like there's actually a choice in the lethality items, and I think by the end of the testing, I think a lot of people will realize what I'm saying now, where it doesn't really fit that role. Like the champions are their attack speed, lethality, or built-in armor pen by Jarvan, Quinn, Graves, and maybe Scrum, but not really because he's like a tank, and he's, I mean, like Zed and Kiana. Kiana's a big thing about this item. So yeah, I'm gonna just end it there, guys. Bye.